Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Catherine Hahn podcast. Today is episode 6, and it's all about the importance of the humanities and why I love art, history, and philosophy. Oh, why I love philosophy and art history. So I was looking through my old notebooks and I went through my Google Drive, and I used to have a lot of like different folders for different subjects. And I was kind of reading my past final exams, like the reviews, the midterm notes. And I was just kind of thinking about my favorite subjects at school. And I just remembered that I always enjoyed learning, like philosophy and art history and languages. Like I love the humanities. I just think it's so important, and it's something that shouldn't be looked down on, because I know in growing up in Asian culture, in Vietnam, there's like a huge emphasis on like science and math and chemistry, and everyone should become a doctor, lawyer, pharmacist. But the humanities, why I really enjoy it and I'm really passionate about it, is because it allows you to have a better understanding of yourself and the world around you. You appreciate beauty. Now, I know it sounds really cheesy, but it's just I feel really passionate about humanities, and I always have a great time learning these subjects because it doesn't feel like I'm in school. It's very enjoyable. So I wanted to tell you about my 3 favorite classes when I was at LMU that I really enjoyed. So the first one was ethics class. It was like a philosophy class, and we studied about Aristotle, we studied about John Stuart Mill, and we studied about Immanuel Kant's philosophy. So it was a really great class. My second favorite was art history, Southeast Asian art history, and I love that class because we did a we had a class field trip. This is like before the pandemic. And we went to the Norton Simon Museum, which is in Pasadena. And we were studying Southeast Asian like art, like in particular, like the Buddhist sculptures. And because of that class, I can tell the difference between Buddhist artwork sculpture from Gandhara and Matsuriya. Like I can tell the difference, and it's so amazing. Basically, an art, if a Buddhist sculpture has more like Greco-Roman features, more like Hellenistic features and style, that's Gandhara. And if it's more like inspired by earlier Buddhist artworks from India, that's Matsuriya. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope I didn't mix it up, but that's so interesting. And I'll tell you one of my favorite artworks um, that was from a Thai artist. I'll talk about it soon. And then lastly, my favorite subject that I also loved when I was studying at LMU was spiritualism and loving relationships. And this class is so amazing because I got to be vulnerable and I got to see others be vulnerable. And this was so different because I come from a country where we don't really appreciate vulnerability, and we see sensitivity and weakness. We see sensitivity as weakness, and we see vulnerability as just like shameful and weak. So it was a really great class where I got to understand more about vulnerability and spiritualism and loving relationships. This class was by one of my favorite professors. His name is Dr. Roy. And the class, we look at relationships in the perspective of spirituality. Like we look at the relationship dynamics, the role of communication, to our family, our friends, our romantic relationships. We read books, we write reflections about it. And it was very deep, a very deep, transformative experience, very enriching. And I got to learn more about how I could communicate better to my, friends and family, and also learned a lot about forgiveness. We read a book by Martin Luther King. I forgot the title, but there was a whole chapter. I think it was chapter 9 or chapter 6 about forgiveness. And I just never forget writing my paper about forgiveness and just like, tearing up because it was just so touching. Okay, so let's get right into some of the favorite subjects that I love. Okay, beginning with ethics. Okay, philosophy. I love this class because I just thought that, philosophy to begin with, it teaches how to think critically. But what I really liked about the professor was that we were applying everything that we learned from the textbook to real life. There are real life examples because if you read the textbook, it's just, sorry, the books, it's hard to understand. But if you apply it to real life, you're going to be like, okay, this is more applicable and I enjoy it now. So one of the quotes that I remember about Immanuel Kant. By the way, Immanuel Kant, when he argues in the book, like his arguments and his theories are very unorganized. I did not enjoy reading Immanuel's like the was it oh what's Immanuel Kant had a book called The Groundwork for the Metaphysics of Morals. Here I'm holding this book right now. It was a very his arguments are very like it's like chronological, but then he just it just goes round, it's just in circles. But I love Aristotle's book of ethics. He's just very concise and coherent and just very organized, which I like. I could follow Aristotle's reasoning much better than Immanuel Kant's. But okay, I like Kant's quote. There's just one quote of any quote I could remember from that dense book. It is the goodwill is good in itself and nothing else. And what that quote is saying is that we all should we should all place dignity, character above anything else, and we should be motivated to be a good person because we want to become a good person and nothing else. So that's my interpretation of the quote, and I really like it. um Aristotle had a great, he had a whole chapter about vices and virtues, and that was my favorite because he also talked about the definition of friendship. Here, I'm going to pull out my binder. So Aristotle has virtues of bravery, temperance, generosity, magnanimity, mildness, truthfulness, wit, and where's the other one? But he had a whole, I think a whole chapter, but oh, this is vices and virtues. And then there's a whole chapter about friendship and how to be a good friend. And so that was one of my favorite things about learning about Aristotle's philosophy was that. I mean, yeah, I think that was it. There's so much to talk about. I'm just so excited. Oh, and then art history. By the way, I'm wearing a navy blazer. So it is, every time I wear a blazer, it's like very hard to move around. So I'm trying to move around gracefully. um, but yes, let's talk about Southeast Asian art history. And it was an amazing class. I loved it. I had so much fun. We had this fun field trip to the museum. We got to like look at artwork and then, enjoy the gardens, walk, have lunch. It was just like summer school. I felt like I was back at like Harvard summer school or something like that. I just love classes where we get to connect and make new friends, because in American college classrooms, I feel like everyone's just like, you go to class, you open your laptop and you write your notes, and then that's it. You don't really talk to your peers or stuff like that. So I love it when there's class interaction. But yeah, so one of my favorite artworks that I remember, and I thought it was so interesting. There's this artwork by Kra In Kong. He's a Thai monk, I believe. And there's this artwork called Buddhist Festival Scene. It's like in the 1800s, like 1850s. And so what I really liked about this artwork was because he was trying to, and it's kind of sad to talk about this, but he was trying to convey that Thailand was just as like legit and just as equal as Europe and America. And so he conveyed that by trying to show that Thai people are adopting cultural modes of like the Western world through their clothes, through their mannerisms, and through their artworks. He had a lot of like he adopted a lot of pro-Western ideas because he wanted to show like don't I don't want to say that, but it's just like Thailand was able to be Thailand was the only country that did not have any colonization because they showed to the world that they were just as equal. And they did that by adopting Western styles through artworks and There's many, but I like that Buddhist festival scene artwork a lot. Yeah, so that was interesting. I learned a lot of history through that artwork. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that Thailand was, the only country that was able to save themselves from colonization. Yeah, and what else? Okay, spiritualism class. So we read a lot of books, and I'm going to show you all the books that I read and I kept. So I rented the books out at the bookstore, but I ended up loving it, and I made so much notes. I just bought them at the end. I want to show you the books right now. Okay, so we read the autobiography of Malcolm X. That was like the first one we read. I have like all these notes I put in. Oh, maybe actually this could be from a different class. I forgot, but I just put them all together. How to Expand Love by the Dalai Lama. Strength to Love by Martin Luther King. Here it is. This is the chapter. I even have it here. If you're watching the video, it's like forgiveness, chapter 5, and loving your enemies, and why forgiveness is strength. Yeah. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. And forgiveness is hard. I have a lot of, I'm still doing the inner work on that. Yeah. Did I show you how to? Yeah. The other one that I really liked was True Love by Thich Nhat Hanh, Vietnamese monk who passed away quite recently. And I love it. It's just very short, but easy to follow through and easy to understand. And then there is The Lost Art of Good Conversation by Saknyong Mi Pham. I think this is about just being grounded, being the present moment. A lot of this, all the books we read was about just being in the present moment and enjoying every second. And then All About Love by Bell Hooks. And then we read more like Love Languages or something by Gary Chapman. We had like a lot of other readings, but those are the books that I kept that I really just enjoyed. Yeah. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so I had a great time. Those are kind of like my fondest memories at LMU, was just like being these classes, being with friends, and then just going to the bluff and looking over like Playa Vista, the houses and the greenery and like the trees and like the little hiking areas, and just sitting in that grass feet, like we have like this huge grass area in front of the chapel, and I just like sit there with my friends and just wait until like we have another class. And how amazing. I feel so grateful to have that experience, because I wish I enjoyed it more in the present moment, because when COVID hit, I wasn't able to go back on campus, and I still, as an alumni, haven't been allowed on campus. So just hopefully when LMU does open up, I cannot wait to just, go back on campus and just say hi to, maybe if my teachers are there, love to say hi. So yeah, that's kind of been what I've been wanting to share today. It was just like my favorite subjects. And I wrote I've been learning Spanish, and so I've been just practicing a couple of like the introductions I wrote in Spanish. So I'm going to read it to you. I'll read the first part because I'm just so shy and I feel a little vulnerable of reading everything else because my Spanish isn't good. But okay, here it goes. And if you're watching this, if you're listening to the podcast, check out my YouTube, because the podcast will be uploaded on on my YouTube too as well. So you can see both the video version and also listen to it audio as well. So I've got my pink binder with all my notes. So here's a Spanish introduction that I've been writing. Okay, so hola, me llamo Catherine, soy de Vietnam y ahora vivo en Los Ángeles con mi hermana. Estudio comunicación audiovisual y me encanta montar a caballo y escribir en mi blog. Hablo francés, vietnamita, inglés y un poco de ruso, y ahora estoy aprendiendo español. Okay, I'm not going to read everything else because I'm shy, but basically I'm just saying, hi, I'm Catherine. I am from Vietnam, currently living in Los Angeles with my sister. I am a communications major. I love riding horses, writing my blog. I speak French, Vietnamese, English, and a bit of Russian, and I'm learning Spanish right now. Yeah. So yeah, that is what I wanted to share with you guys. And anything else? Oh my goodness, I had such a long day. Oh, let me show you guys my outfit. That's very important. So I did a little shopping, and I love the feeling of like feeling put together. And it's so rare. I just realized that I don't wear blazers anymore in Los Angeles because LA, California style is so laid back. It's so different. So every time I wear a blazer, I feel more like me. So I'm wearing this L'Agence blazer. It's navy, and my top inside is frame. And these jeans are cool. I've never tried the style before. It's by a Goldie or something. I might I don't know. I have a feeling I might give it back. Like I just don't know if it's my style, but I'm gonna give it a go. But I'm gonna show you how it looks like. Okay, I just removed my headphones, but if you're watching it, you can still see. Um, it's yeah, I'm gonna show you the look. So it's like a navy blazer with like silver buttons and like a white silk top and just like grayish, like dark gray jeans. So it's like super proper on the upper and kind of relaxed. It's very so it's I like to call this style I like to call this style like New York on the upper and LA on the lower. So yes, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this podcast about, my passion for humanities and um just I think it's so amazing, and it's such an incredible experience. If you ever have the time, I know we're all busy working, but if you have time, take a history course, take a history class. Last week I was learning Hebrew for fun. I'm not continuing it because it's hard. I'm going to be learning Farsi next week, and I took two history courses, just classes, just to check it out. But yeah, it's been just really fun trying out different courses. And yeah, I'm excited. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, we didn't try any sound effects today. No. Oh, I like this clapping. Do you guys hear it? Yay. Okay, so let's do with the clapping. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm just trying to, play with these sound effects on my Rodecaster Pro, but thank you so much for listening. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, the importance of the humanities and why I love philosophy and art history. And make sure you subscribe to the Catherine Hall podcast. I'll be making a new episode soon. And yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. And I'll definitely share more about my life in Los Angeles. And you know what? Actually, my next episode, I do want to talk about the culture shock that I've been experiencing in Los Angeles. I think will be a very interesting episode. So I can't wait to record that. Um, all right, guys, have a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye.